Okay, I wasn't really going to film this, but now I am. This dog was, this is obviously a dead dog with blood pouring out of his mouth, well, having poured out of his mouth, now congealing. Half an hour ago, he was hit by a car about there. I was on the other side of the road, I heard it, saw the dog lying. The other car's already stopped behind. The car went through, I think, on a red light, black car or a dark car. So I crossed over to this point, picked him up by the legs, brought him here. And very soon afterwards, well, I just tried to see if there's anything that could be done. Very soon afterwards, almost immediately, this lady appeared and started helping me. She rang half an hour ago the Straż Miejska, or the sort of municipal guard, as it were, and they still haven't arrived yet. So I decided to start filming just to show how that works. You know, I was hoping that the dog would be possible to save and that it would be possible to get some, 24-hour veterinary on it, but even by the time we'd been a couple of minutes, it was obvious that the dog wasn't going to recover. Now it's cold, so it's obviously a dead dog. Yeah, so we're not making a lot of difference to the dog anymore, but which is what I'd initially hoped to do when I carried him over here. But unfortunately, it's like we're kind of now waiting for the police to arrive, or the Straż Miejska to arrive, and it's rather cold. I don't want to go and get another bout of pneumonia over this. We're not making any difference to this poor old soul. He's now dead. Maybe I see him in heaven, I don't know. Hopefully we can make friends there, but unfortunately, at the moment, I don't feel like walking away from it. Obviously, this young lady who stopped and helped doesn't really feel like doing it either. It was almost like, being the people that stood by, we ought to do our duty to the end and wait for the police to arrive. Even though, actually, it annoys me because it's not making any difference. Now they appear to have possibly come. Or is that the police? No, it's policja jeszcze raz. They're no good, are they? I powiedzieli, że są w drodze, tak?
Tak, oni są właśnie w drodze.
I to było jeszcze 10 minut temu. Ja nie wiem, jak długo ja wytrzymam z tym. Jakbym miał zrobić różnicę, to bym wytrzymał całą noc, tak? Jeżeli byłby możliwość jego uratować.
Pan możesz iść, jak pan się spieszy. Ja zostanę, ja poczekam. Ja tu mieszkam, to i tak nie robi różnicy.
Nie robi różnicy?
Nie, może pan iść.
Na pewno?
Tak, na pewno. Ja i tak poczekam,
Troszkę się źle czuję, ale naprawdę już nie robię różnicy dla niego.
Niech pan pójdzie.
Okej, dobrze.
Tak dobrze pan go jest.
O, dziękuję.
Proszę bardzo.
Do widzenia. So I'm going to leave it because it's not making any difference. And for all we know, she says she's happy to wait because she lives nearby. So bless her for that. In effect, it's probably a little bit silly to stand around, both of us waiting. If it had been that there was a chance of saving them, I would have, just carried on there indefinitely. But I need to be doing this walk. I need to be losing weight, not just standing there. I haven't got copious amounts of time to do it. I already stood there for 45 minutes. And actually that meant I got rather cold because I'm only dressed lightly so that I can walk. And that meant that I got thoroughly cold while I was doing it. I hope I don't get some form of pneumonia for that. But when I come back, hopefully, if I come back this way, I'll see whether anything's been done or nothing. If they'd have turned up then, it would have been possible to also make a film using, this covert technology with the camera in my pocket, talking about, or at least recording their reaction and what they say they're going to do with an animal that's been hit by a car and is dead to all intents and purposes. I mean, because the dog is small, went cold quite quickly, so there's no real doubt about that. If there's still been a metabolism going on in there, then actually when I first got him he was still moving and his tail was up and he was sort of like moving his jaws, trying to somehow, I don't know whether he's trying to remove the blood or get the blood flowing or remove the blood from his gullet. It started flowing out of his mouth gradually, and his light went out. He had a light in his eyes still when I was standing by him at first, but his light kind of went out, and you could see, you know, when they talk about somebody's lights going out, I could see for the first time really what it meant, because I've never stood next to a dying person and seen a person die. I've really not seen that moment of death in a human being, or anything else for that matter, maybe in a bird, but birds are a little bit far removed from us, whereas dogs are not all that far removed from us, in a sense. So that was a bit saddening, I have to say. If I look back there, I probably will see that she's still standing there next to the tram, or behind the tram. But nothing's been done. She's still there, there's nobody with her. But she's okay. I mean, she seemed to be quite confident that she could handle the situation. So she's about 20, 21, that sort of age, I don't know. And she says she lives nearby. She had several telephone calls to her parents or somebody else. If it's her parents, but certainly somebody that was interested in what she was up to, so I think people know where she is. So it's not like she's going to be left completely out on a limb, I suppose. But it's a very saddening thing. If you don't leave your house, you don't see these things, but that's not a very good reason to stay indoors the whole time. There's the central business district of Warsaw. Okay, I didn't want to even film that poor old soul in there because I thought, you know, he's got to have his dignity, but at least there's a memory of him now. That dog had no collar on, probably was one of the dogs that never has an owner, probably got born and chucked out or just born to another stray dog. There aren't that many strays around, but there are some. And the other thing is, dogs which are owned by people are generally collared. They also sometimes have chips put in. So when the Straż come, they ought by rights to take him off to a place where there's a vet, police vet, and at least have the dog just checked over to see if there is a chip inside, to see if anybody should be notified of his departure. But I like to think that in those last, he didn't make any noises or anything. He didn't show much distress other than the kind of howking that he was doing. I don't know if he was conscious or not at that point. But I like to think that I was able to comfort him in some way, or even if he wasn't conscious of it, at least to give some dignity to the proceedings by removing him from the road so that he didn't just get squashed into an unrecognisable mess, which is what of course would happen if a few more cars had gone over him. Okay. Probably that's about enough of that, isn't it? Well, many of my viewers to this channel will be from the UK, or are from the UK, I know, and you will be familiar with such a thing as the Polish shop in the UK. Well, here's an example of the reverse. The British shop, city of Warsaw. So there we are. There's the reverse thing. What have they got? They've got British shop. This is for British people living in Warsaw, of which there's probably only about 1/100th of the number of Poles in London. But, or maybe that's not the case. If we compared capital to capital, it would be closer than that. But I'm sure that there's about 100 times more Poles in the UK as a whole than there are British in Poland as a whole. Put it that way. So, but nevertheless, we have a shop to cater for us here in Warsaw in a similar manner to the way Polish people have their shops. I'm sure it's part of the same distribution cycle where you've got a company taking food to and fro, instead of going back from England, after taking Polish food to the numerous Poles in England, instead of going back home empty, it's able to come back with some cargo of British food. Don't tell me that's another dog that's been hit. What on earth is it? I think it's part of a car that's been knocked off. Anyway, the roads seem littered with things that have been knocked off by being hit this evening. I don't want to see any more dead animals for one evening. Okay. So I come back now, 2 hours later, and this poor little soul is still there. He's been moved slightly so he doesn't get in people's way, so that they don't kick him. But there he is, in the same position, and obviously completely cold by now. So I'm sorry to see that. Obviously it means that the authorities simply don't do their jobs at all. Needless to say, obviously that young lady, I wouldn't have expected to stay out this long. I left first, of course, but she obviously didn't make it either. She didn't manage to stay the course either, for this poor soul. Well, we can't stay all night, so we'll just have to go. That's all there is to it. When the next tram comes on that's going my way, I'm going to come on it. I left to do my walk. I did, well, 7.17 kilometres. I still got half from the tram to home, so it's nearly 8 tonight. That's not bad. That's catching up, because I'm supposed to do an average of 6, and I was a little bit behind. But really, I'm sorry to see that he hasn't been sorted out. And well, it doesn't make any difference to him, I suppose, but it's just a complete shame, really. A lot of people will have seen him and felt sad. So there we are. Not entirely surprised that he's still there.